Hello, my friends. I want to update you on some things that I have received in the Holy Spirit and from the Lord. A couple of days ago, I had a very powerful vision where I saw a Chinese dragon eating its own people. I saw military cracking down on people in China dealing with civil unrest in that country. And as I began to search what the Spirit was showing me, the tariffs that are going on in the world right now, China is a manufacturing company, and there are so many people right now that are being put out of work because their largest exporter was the United States. And now all of that is coming to an end for a period of time. That means that there's a lot of people that are not going to be receiving paychecks, that are going to have issues paying bills, and bankruptcies are going to become much more common. Now, let me say this. In China, they have been hiding something. The commercial real estate in that country is bust. The housing market, the retail market is okay, but the commercial market, real problems. And the government has had to help the commercial banks and lenders keep going because of default that was happening. And it's something that has been going on for the last couple of years. But this is something new. This is civil unrest that is being caused, and the military is going to deal with it. Now, either there would be a revolution and it would change the government, or the only option that the government has is to use military force. And this is what's going to happen. This is what I saw. I saw the dragon eating its own people. It's a terrible thing. It reminds us of what happened 30 years ago with Tiananmen Square. Now, let me say this. Biblical justice is happening. The gate of heaven is open. I've heard the Holy Spirit say this. The gate of heaven is open. The enemy has been roaring, trying to suppress what God is doing, but there are signs, wonders, miracles happening everywhere in the world. There are thousands of people that have been coming to the Lord in just all kinds of countries. Reports in Europe is we're seeing young people coming to the Lord in waves. It's a magnificent time where the Spirit of God is moving. At the same time, while we're seeing that, we're seeing God deal with things, biblical justice, dealing with nations that have suppressed his people and suppressed the church. And this is part of what we're seeing. We're seeing a wave of this being dealt with. It's not just because of what the United States is doing or what Europe is doing. This is what God is doing, and we need to be aware of this. Now, how will this affect you in Europe? Well, you're going to hear about it. Of course, prices may rise for short term, for a little while, but it's important for us to realize how we need to pray and to position ourselves in all of this. And if China is going into civil unrest, then that means that other countries will follow because they have been dependent upon the economy. Now, let me say this. China has been very generous in giving resources and money to other nations, especially in Africa. But if they don't have money to pay bills, they're going to ask those nations to give the money that is owed to China, to give it back to China. This is going to create even more unrest in third world countries where China has been helping. So it's a domino effect, and we're seeing this probably for the rest of the year. Now, the war in the Ukraine, it's not over. It's going to escalate, and it's going to become a little more difficult because Russia is not going to stop, and Europe doesn't want to get involved through NATO, but something will happen, and this is what it is. These countries, the European countries, through individual companies, will recruit armies and send them to Ukraine. That's right. They will be independent, non-aligned with any country. They will receive money and funding in different ways from countries, but it will not be anything that will be noticeable, and it will be very similar to what the Wagner Group was doing in Russia. There will be things from the United States, from the United Kingdom, from France, all over Europe, independent armies that are contracted by companies or by organizations to go fight in the Ukraine. This is going to be happening and it's going to escalate. Now, why is this happening? Is it World War III? No. This is an escalation of biblical judgment where God is dealing with the nations. And at the end of this, we're going to see something that we haven't seen in the last 30 or 40 years. It will be a period of peace, before we see the coming of the Lord. Now, I know Antichrist is supposed to be coming, but there are so many different things that are happening in the world. These are just steps of what's going to be happening for the next months. That's all I'm giving you. That's all I can see. So there we go. This is a short pray, believe, don't fear, because our King is in control. God bless you.